Dear student and parent, welcome to the TestprepKart channel. This video is going to be about what is SAT and how to be prepared for the SAT. I will be covering when to start preparing for the SAT, what is SAT all about, and the methodologies of what are covered, how to take this up ahead. Let's start off for the day. So SAT is a standardized test and it tests your college readiness. You have two aspects to it, English and math. I will be covering what is it that you need to prepare for in the English language with regard to the SAT. It is better if you start preparing at a very young age or well in advance. If you're already in the 10th standard, I would suggest start preparing after your boards in the March so that you get at least 5 to 6 months time to go over and give the SAT in October. SAT is conducted 4 times a year. That is in March, May, October, and December. You need to have an expertise, a thoroughness about the English language when you go for the SAT exam. With regard to the English, you will be scored from 800 points. You will be having evidence-based reading and writing sections which you should be attempting for your SAT exam. Those of you who struggle with the language, it is advisable that you start your preparation from the 9th standard, because the more you prepare for a language, the thorough you will be. You need to understand the intricacies of the language, because in competitive exams like SAT, they will be checking for your in-depth understanding of the questions. Let us look at what do you have in the reading. You get 52 questions, which you should be answering in 65 minutes. So that is your time duration and your questions, number of questions. Number of questions, 52, time given 65 minutes. So it roughly comes up to 1 minute and 15 seconds per question. You just cannot give a cursory glance. You have to be thorough with what you're reading in order to answer the questions adequately, appropriately. So you will be getting in your reading section 5 passages from various genres. US and world literature is one, social science is another, science is the next, and the last is the history. So you'll be getting 2 passages from science. The question types that you will encounter in your SAT reading: big picture questions, inference question types, and vocabs in context. So we first need to understand what are these and how do we approach them so that we are able to tackle them effectively. You also have the rhetorical strategy and other strategies which will help you improvise on your language skills, at the same time get a very high band score with regard to the SAT. So let me talk about how to do the vocab in context. So what happens here is, let's take the word kicks. Now, K-I-C-K-S, kicks. What do we understand from this word? There are several interpretations which can be given. First thing, strike with your leg is a kick. Getting thrilled, experiencing a thrill is again a kick. And a complaint is again a kick. So you need to understand in what context is the word being used. Is it a compliment? Is it used in a critical aim? So you first need to understand what context is the word being used in by looking at the sentence. For example, I'm given the sentence like, for the work that the man did at the factory, he earned more kicks than kudos. Now, if you look at this word, he earned more kicks than kudos. We need to understand what was the work that he did. The question says, for the work that the man did at the factory. So we need to understand what is a kick meaning in this context. He earned more kicks. is that a positive thing or a negative thing? Then kudos. So we go from the reverse strategy. Kudos means applause, praise. So he says he did not earn kudos. Then kudos indicates a contrast. So he did not earn the kudos. Instead, he earned the kicks. That means he was criticized. Even if you do not understand the meaning of the word exactly, you can take these contextual clues and understand, is this word a positive or a negative? Accordingly, mark your answer. So how do you start preparing for the SAT? Language learning is a lifelong skills. But when you're going in for competitive exams, you need to have expertise, practice for certain time period. Start reading. Start off reading with books, small books if you're not into reading. If you're already into reading, graduate to higher books. Start reading novels. This will improve your vocabs drastically. Added to that, the newspaper is a very good resource for enhancing your English language skills. Just don't read anything in the newspaper. Be focused, read the editorial sections. So you have a complete page earmarked as the editorial. Just go over the editorial sections on a daily basis. Whatever you're reading, try to analyze, see if you're understanding each and every aspect. Let's say you're coming across a tough vocab. Make sure that you are making a note of this vocab, looking up the meaning in the dictionary. So you will have your own set of vocabulary, which will help you understand further. So consistent practice is what is mandatory. Start off with the reading skills. If you start off from the 9th standard itself, it's not going to be very hectic. Once you finish off with your 10th exams, you will have ample time to go prepare, take mocks, assessments, and give the SAT exam in the October season. The College Board repeats questions. So this is one advantage. So it is not that they are going to create new content every single time. The questions are repeated. The more you practice, the higher the chances of getting a very high band score with your SAT. So you need to understand the types are clearly stated. Hence, you know that this being a standardized test, if I have a grip on these topics, I have done repeated practice on this, I will definitely be able to get my required band score. You also have to focus on vocabs and content. Like I told you, you may not understand each and everything, but when you're reading a paragraph, you are going over sentence by sentence, you understand the flow. So it is contextual understanding. This will go a long way in helping you with your SAT, especially in understanding the meaning. Inference types of questions need to have extra focus because inference is all about trying to read between the lines, trying to understand what is the overall meaning of this. But then hints are given. So if you read the passage thoroughly, you will be able to catch the hint and mark the answer. Sometimes what happens is you may not be able to answer the question immediately as soon as you read it, but by the time you finish the paragraph, you come across the answer for the second question, and that gives you a hint of what might have been the answer of the previous question. So you can also adopt this strategy. There are several strategies which come in play. And SAT preparation, like I told you, start it at a very early age, right from your 9th standard. If you are in your 10th, you can prepare for the 5 to 6 months that you have before you go for your October intake. So I think that is it for the day. Looking forward to meeting again. In case you have any further doubts or queries, do comment below or connect with us in the link provided in the description. Do subscribe to our channel to keep yourself posted with the latest updated content. Thank you.